Hey guys, welcome back to Graham House Reviews. Today I'm going to be going over Birds of Prey, but really quick, I just want to give everybody an update on the channel. So it's obvious that the 100 movies in 2020 is definitely going slow. 52 weeks in the year, I've spent 6 of them, and I have, 4 videos up? That means in the next several weeks especially, I'm going to be bombarding your feeds with reviews. And I just want to say that right now, the plan is to, see multiple movies on the weekends, record a quick 1 to 2 minute overview in my car, and then upload those to Facebook rather quickly. And right before I upload this video and these types of videos in the office, I'm going to upload those car videos to my YouTube. So it'll look like, I'm getting 2 submissions, most every day here. The reason being is that I still want those quick hits on YouTube for people to look back at, but I also think that they have a better purpose on Facebook, on Twitter, and can do more good there. Everybody has a minute while they're scrolling Facebook, but if you hop on if you're scrolling Facebook and you click on a YouTube link and you open up the YouTube app and then it loads and then it loads an ad and then it does this and that and the other, that's just too fucking much. So I'm just kind of cut out that middleman, and if somebody has 20 minutes for these deep dives, I love you. Watch these. That's who I make this for. Definitely the Office videos is literally made for that. So your feeds are going to be blowing up. I'm going to get back on my horse and keep watching more movies. Hopefully everything goes pretty damn smooth. We'll see. So, on to the review. Birds of Prey. Let me preface this. I'm not a comic book movie fan. I never got into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I never quite understood the allure of comic book movies in general. I definitely the only DC cinematics I liked were the Dark Knight trilogy, like everybody, because those are fucking fantastic. And if you don't like those, well, we got to talk. So going into this, my expectations were very low. How they handled the Harley Quinn character in Suicide Squad was exactly what's wrong with the portrayal of Harley Quinn and the portrayal of everything. So I definitely was like, oh no, this movie's going to blow ass. I was wrong. This is a really fucking good movie. They made a lot of choices that I thought were perfect for the direction that they wanted to take this in. So what I believe is that DC saw Marvel owning the child market, just owning it. Anything, PG-13 or under, PG-13, you know what I'm saying here. Every kid wanted to see, all the Marvel movies, and they've been coming out since we were like fucking 10. So I should have been included, and I just wasn't for whatever reason. So DC, seeing that, made a conscious choice to go, okay, if Marvel's going to be going after the kids, how can we still make money? Because Marvel standards up here, no matter if DC comes out with a movie, no matter if DC comes out with a good DC movie, it's not going to be up here. It's going to be here. And it's not going to be good enough for the Marvel standard. So how can we differentiate? Let's target adults. And that's what I definitely think the pivot is. I know Joker wasn't an official DC licensed movie, yada, yada, yada. It was targeted to adults, and it had the DC character. It was a fucking DC movie. Birds of Prey is a DC licensed movie targeted for adults. The R rating is obvious. So right out the gate, it just the biggest thing that this movie is clear is that this is a movie about with a dramatization about what women see in the daily, how they're treated, how they're passed up for promotions, or how they're just seen as pretty things to look at or hear, but they're not treated with respect and they're not treated as valuable members of the workplace, of society, of, fill in the blank here. And this definitely is a deep dive into, several avenues of life and how they are forgotten. So I thought that was great as a subject matter to tackle, and especially in a medium that everybody can see and everybody wants to see. And I think the biggest thing that DC did that let them tackle that in a productive manner, it was a woman director. And that changes so much. It's no longer a man directing a movie about women. It's a woman directing a movie about women. And just that initial change. And if you don't think there's a drastic change, watch any movie about women before 1975, definitely before 2005, probably before 2010, maybe. And you're going to see a drastic change in how, women are depicted. And I do realize the irony of having, a guy talk about how women are depicted. And I'm not trying to, enforce that. What I'm trying to say is having the people you're depicting, directing, and writing and producing and deciding how things are done appeals better and is a more accurate representation of the group you're fucking depicting. Why was Black Panther such a success in the black community? You want to fucking guess why? It's because there had black guys, black women, and black people just all around set deciding how a story about a superhero from fucking Africa was going to be depicted. And it was good. It was relatable. It was connectable. And that's what we see with Birds of Prey. It's, it follows, half as being generous. It follows 3.25 women, because one just kind of shows up at the end and loved her character. It was fucking great. So it follows, three women as the primary characters, and then another one as like the last quarter of the movie. So it shows Harley going through a breakup, and go online and just search for anybody's review of of Birds of Prey, and you're gonna find, undoubtedly, in one of the first fucking articles, you're gonna find some film bro that's gonna sit here and be like, "Oh, they found a way to make Harley Quinn ugly." Motherfucker, she's going through a breakup. And having a woman director decide how a woman goes through a breakup is better than having a male director decide how a woman goes through a breakup. I've seen that movie. We've all seen those movies a million fucking times. What's the woman do? Oh, she's in full face and makeup. She has like 2 Oreos, and then she goes out there and starts doing thing. Normally not necessarily the greatest things. Having a woman director, it's showing, the effect, like the makeups ran, the, gallon of ice cream, the impulse decisions, the ways that human fucking beings go through a breakup. And that was cool. And, I'm watching it with Ashley, Paige, Will, and all Ashley and Paige could say was, "Wow, that was cool that it was realistic." And that's the benefit of having, the intended audience direct the movie about the intended audience. You know what I mean? It lets you say, "Oh, this is what I would like. This is how I should feel it should be depicted. This is a common critique. This is how it should be done." It's easy. It makes a lot of sense. Unless you're Hollywood before 5 years ago. So, I really liked a lot about this movie. I think the storylines were great. I liked how it wasn't shot chronologically. Well, it wasn't given to us chronologically. It had really good fight scenes, and really the sound editing was fantastic. Wasn't too keen on the soundtrack, but if my only complaint is that I think the soundtrack is a little whack. We're here, we've reached just splitting hairs level, you know what I mean? So going in on what my favorite part of the movie was, I guess second favorite, because having a woman director, having a woman producer, being able to do things by the intended audience for the intended audience makes sense. So my second favorite thing is how it was shot in a non-chronological order. Very first thing we're given from the get-go that Harley is deciding how this story is told. She's deciding how her own story is told, and we're shown that, and we're told that, and it's reinforced the entire movie. And that was so empowering to see, and knowing that, this message is now, hey, it's your own fucking story. Tell it how you want to tell it. There's no right way. There's no wrong way. Tell it how you want to tell it. That was pivotal. And it starts off with Harley going over doing a monologue about her childhood and how she got to this point. And that's where you want to start. And then it jumps forward 2 days, and then it jumps backwards 3, and then it jumps forward and backward. Do it how you want to do it. And it was so easy to follow. And that was Christopher Nolan like, where it's just you can follow it and you understand point A, point B, point C. Oh, wait, no, I went back to point A. Oh, wait, no, I went in between point A and point B. Oh, wait, no, I'm actually at a different point in between A and C that isn't point B, but not quite C. Okay, no, this makes sense. I'm able to follow that. And they did it in such a great way that they would either do like a hard stop on the movie, kind of to like, Harley voiceover, and she just, oh, but I don't want to tell that story yet. Or you're probably asking a question about why this happened. And then they just rewind it. And, it's so simple. And it's so much better and more engaging as a movie to watch rather than chronologically watching how things just kind of happened. It was I was worried when I heard that the movie did this. I was worried that it was going to kind of be a cheap way to cut a movie so that more people can maintain interest when a scene or plot line starts to wane. You see it a lot in a lot of shitty movies where it's not really adding to the story, so it's subtracting. If it's not good, it is bad by my qualifications. If something is not good for the movie, it is now bad for the movie, because if you can cut 10 minutes from it, cut 10 more minutes. You can cut, if you can make it easier, make it easier. If you can do this, that, or the other, do that. So it's good. If it's not good, it's bad, because too much fluff is bullshit. And how they do it is, hey, you're going to see conflict, and then we're going to go back and say how that conflict happens. And then we're going to just be like, all right, conflict, and we're going to move past it from that point in time. So it's more like, we're showing you 1 o'clock, and then we're going back in time to 12:45 to show you how 1 o'clock happened. And then we're going to show you 1 o'clock to 1:30. And then we're going to jump forward to 5 o'clock. Then we're going to push it back to 2 or 3. And, we're just going to keep moving it like that. It really did work for it. Kept me engaged, kept everybody engaged. Thought it was great. The other thing I really want to hit on is breaking the fourth wall. That's a very delicate thing to do, because there's only so many times. We've all seen the fucking Deadpool movies. We can only take so many nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Hey, did you know this is a fucking movie? We know it's a fucking movie. We're sitting in a goddamn theater. We're enjoying something. We know it's a movie. You don't have to tell us. You don't have to treat us like a fucking captive audience. And they didn't. There were several times when they clearly broke the fourth wall, but did it in a way that still was, it wasn't, hey, did you know you're in a movie? It's still in the flow of how things are set up. And then the only complaint I have, and it's a complaint that is still a compliment, and it follows in with my fluff argument. There was one scene in the movie that I did not think needed to be there, but the way it was shot was in my opinion a way to show people this is how you can shoot the scene without you looking like a piece of shit doing it, without this being a male fantasy to do it, right? So just to set the scene, Black Mask is, he's in his bar. He has something bad happen to him. A deal falls through, and he hears a woman laughing at her own table, and of course she's laughing with her own friends. But his ego is so fragile that he's like, "Is she laughing at me?" And he goes over and starts to be a despicable character towards her. And he was already set up as the bad guy. He was clearly a baddie. He was not somebody we could mistakenly cheer for. He wasn't somebody that we could go, "Oh, cool. This person still won. This isn't a redeemable bad to this point in time." And now I'm going to outline a slight positive with the scene really quick. You could see the scene as him crossing that line to, I am officially now the biggest piece of shit. You want me to die. I already wanted him to die. I think it was commonplace. You wanted him to die. You saw what he did. The first scene we realize who he is, he's cutting the face off of people. This is a baddie, right? So he walks over to her, and, his ego's so fragile, so he's like, "Are you laughing at me? What's so funny? What's so funny, Erica?" And he makes her get on the table. And she is, like, crying this whole time, but it's not focusing on her. It's focusing on him and him becoming unhinged. And then he's like, "Dance, dance." And, take off your dress. And then you see her face crying. You see her in pain for maybe 2 seconds. Cuts back to him losing his shit. And then he gives a knife to somebody, says, "Cut off the dress." And again, you see her not enjoying it. But again, it's not, "Hey, let's watch this woman get her dress cut off," as so many fucking movies do it in the same goddamn way, that it's a power fantasy. This isn't done like that. This is done in a way to make it look like how it is. Look like what it should look like. Fucking disgusting. And this is a good way to get him to be a ultimate bad and us to cheer when he dies, no matter what. Because now he has passed over the realm of irredeemably bad. Right? I don't think this scene was needed because he was already irredeemably bad. He already was the baddie. This scene, to me, spoke more to, hey, this is how you can do a fucking scene about, at the end of the day, sexual assault without it being a power fantasy. This is how to shoot it. Everybody, take notes. Look at this scene. Study this scene. Replicate it, because we're sick of seeing this treated as, something to get people off on. And this comes back to having a woman director direct the content, that's having the intended audience direct the content for the intended audience. It's as simple as that. So the movie as a whole, it's the best movie of the year. Best movie I've seen of the year. By far. The way it did most everything, I absolutely loved. Of course, there was scenes I didn't think were needed. But several people I talked to, people ranging all over the spectrum, some people really did think it was needed to make him that irredeemably bad. Some people were also in my camp and said, it wasn't needed. Some people didn't feel any type of way about it. But the movie overall, great movie. Go watch it because it's a lot of fun. And just kind of, again, hitting on something positive that I really, really did like about the movie. This movie was clearly made for adults, and the F-bombs, the content, everything was done in a way to say, teenagers would also like it, of course, but this is done to target the adult audience because that's not what DC needs to figure out how they're going to solidify themselves in the market. And I feel like they're going to be going more towards adults, and I'm really interested in that. So the movie as an individual, the movie, in a vacuum, I loved it. The importance of what the movie can do in the future is I'm very looking forward to seeing that. So yeah, definitely watch this movie, have fun with it, go in expecting a good movie from DC for the first time, and God knows how long. So yeah, go ahead and share this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, tell me if I'm full of shit. Tell me, I'm the greatest person in the world, because we all know I am. Let's have fun with it. This has been Graham House Reviews. Thank you for watching.